Back again, Jeff Gotta Go Podcast. Dennis Parker Jr., sports editor of the Standard Banner, joined again by Bryson Jurek, director of digital media content for all Jefferson County athletics.
There you go. I like it. Don't forget. I have a new role now. I'm an actor, certified.
That's right. Absolutely.
Actor and singer.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Don't forget about that.
Did you enjoy the singing role? I did hate that you put down the girl the way that you did.
Guardian Angel. Yeah. He's Guardian Angel.
Oh, it's Guardian Angel? I thought it was like Fairy Godmother.
Teen
or
Angel.
something.
Teen
Angel.
Yeah.
Teen Angel.
Yeah, no, that was the most stressful week of my life. I told Chloe I will never do that again, and I will stand by that.
I don't know. I think you got a career in it.
Think so?
It was really good.
Okay, well, good. Glad you liked it.
No, for real. The senior play was excellent. I'm not big on musicals whatsoever. I brought my wife because she loves them, and she loves Grease, and I don't know. I was thoroughly entertained the entire time. She loved it. That was the thing that mattered the most, but. No, it was a good time. All you guys did a really good job. I was hoping to be joined by Kanicki for this deal as well.
Kanicki's got practice.
Yeah, well, and that's good. He's he's got his priorities in line. So we got the next best thing. We have his dad, Jeff County Principal Randy Rogers, joining us for the first time. Randy, how are you?
I am good. Happy to be here, and just echoing what you said about Greece, it was fabulous. Just to see what our seniors can do over a length of time, and put that together. It's not. I tell people all the time, it's not a high school play. It's not your typical high school play. It's a production. I think we sold out pretty much every night. I don't think we've ever had that happen. And since Kanicki was in it, we had some out-of-staters make their way down here and thoroughly enjoyed the play itself. But it was good to see alumni come back. Saw several parents of kids that I taught in middle school when I first started 20 years ago just coming to play because that's what they always do. And it was a great show put on by all of them. Big thanks to Bryson and Chloe Hodge and Miss Hodge, Mr. Hodge, Mr. Alder. Mm-hmm. Who else am I forgetting? Teresa Adams, and then who's our dance instructor?
Liza
Rutherford. I mean, the work they put into that and building the set. Can't forget Doc Nooncastle. Just to put that together was really neat. And we had a lot of athletes out there, and I know some spring coaches were excited the play is over and nobody got hurt and it's time to play.
Yep, that's right.
I did think that it was that was pretty cool. That was the first thing I did going through the program is pointing out to my office. It's like, okay, he plays this, she plays that, he plays this and that. Mm-hmm. No, it was really good, and you could tell that the baseball guys had a really good time together with it.
They did.
Absolutely.
Speaking of baseball, they got their first game in last night. Zach Long is officially a winner as a head coach. Congrats to him. Mm-hmm. You guys were up there. I was dealing with soccer last night. Why don't you guys give me a little bit on what you saw out of the guys in their season opener?
I'll let you start.
Let me start? All right. Well, from the camera lens, it looked very good. Like we were talking about a little bit before, I think one of the things that has always been our kryptonite in the last few years has been that consistent, hitting when it counts and things like that, which I think, at least from this first game, looked to be in a positive trend. A lot of good hits, especially from people like Ryan Smith getting a hit straight up the middle. People were cheering for him and stuff like that. It's going to be impact players like that. I think we're in a good position as far as that goes this year for sure.
Having been in the press box for 9 years and getting to watch it, of course, I'm more of a baseball guy than anything, but I enjoy all the sports. Oh yeah.
Oh, never knew that.
Yeah, never would have guessed.
But the group of seniors he had, I got them as sixth graders, and I got to coach them from 6th, 7th, and 8th. At the middle school level, and now they're seniors. Strong group of seniors. Got some underclassmen in there as well. The one thing I always talk about baseball is you have enough pitching, and I think we have plenty of pitching. And it might be a point where how you going to find innings for somebody if somebody does what they're supposed to do. And you can only play 9. Some people there's only 9 that can get out there at a time. 10 if you do a DH. And there's only so much room to get out there when you have a talented bunch like that. Sometimes, part of high school you just sort of have to wait your turn. And some turns come quicker than others. And, I go back to my oldest. He pretty much had to wait his senior year till he played. And that was a struggle for him. But, when you look at that team that Coach Long has inherited, a lot of positives that can come out of it, and it should be a pretty interesting year in baseball-wise. Conference-wise, I think it's going to be us, Sevier County, and West. It's a toss-up between those three, and when you play each other, how many times are they playing each other this year? Last year they played each other four times.
I looked at the schedule. I think we only play them twice.
Yeah, so they might have redone the schedule, but it'll be a dogfight. It will be, and it'll be fun to watch just as a parent. And if you're watching on Game Changer, if you hear noises up there pounding, that's me instead of yelling. But it was a fun game. Got to win, get them jitters out of the way, and start up with West on Monday.
You guys brought up the schedule, and it finally did just dawn on me. I think they play three. I think they're playing each team 3 times.
Is it 3?
Yeah, they'll play the typical Monday, Tuesday through the start of the year,
and a sprinkle.
And then after that, they're going to just play one more time. And like some of them, they're going to play one game over at Carson Newman. They're going to play one game over at the Smoky Stadium, which I think is really cool. It's a great opportunity for the guys. I mean, that kind of takes me back to that COVID season where we didn't really have a season, so you had that thing that the Smokies ended up putting on, which I thought was really great. Yeah. Gave the kids a chance to still have their season in some kind of way. And, of course, getting to play in a minor league park like that. I mean, Smoky Stadium is really awesome. I hate that they're leaving it.
Right. It'll be interesting to see what happens to that place. I haven't heard yet.
Yeah, I think we're all waiting to see about that one. I got a feeling that it might, I don't know, something might slot in there.
Yes.
If you catch what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got you.
Randy, you mentioned guys having to wait their turn. One guy that really didn't have to wait his turn, and he hasn't really had to wait in any sport that he's played, is Brody Carr, and he was a bit of a surprise to me. I mean, of course, I didn't watch these guys come up through the middle school ranks, but watching him come in and be able to contribute as a pitcher last year, and then yesterday he comes in, pitches an inning, 2 strikeouts, doesn't allow a hit, doesn't allow a run, nothing.
Double off the wall.
Yeah, I mean
can't forget about that.
Great.
That was triple.
That was a triple. Yeah, you're right. He made it all the way third.
Great athlete. I mean, just a sophomore, he's really come on strong.
Right. Well, I think what helps with Brody is he's always been a hard worker and he plays hard. From other people, 2 things you control is your attitude and your effort. And his attitude and effort is good wherever it's at. And it's always been that way, and that's helped him. And if you look at somebody that, such as a Brody, or baseball-wise, you look at Maddox and Bo Revord and Dylan Evans have played varsity since freshman year. Those are sort of the attributes they've had as well. It's my attitude and effort. And even as a freshman, I may be a little bit smaller and not as strong as these guys, but I'm gonna compete with them. And that's sort of what Brody has. He's a competitor. And, there's going to be other contributors as well besides those seniors that you're going to – you never know with baseball. You're going to need them in that moment, that inning, that opportunity. And, Coach Long has a good group there, like I said, and they support each other, and they look like they're having fun. And, of course, 5 of them were in Greece. So I'm going to have to redo the walk-up songs for some probably at some point in time.
I'm absolutely trying to find ways I can work Greece into some of these stories.
So I did hear some with Edmonds last night. I did hear some Zuko's. Come on, Zuko. When
there was a couple of those out there.
I didn't hear no Kanicki's. Or what was Lucas's name in the play? What was his? Sonny, but what was his nickname? Rump.
Yeah.
I didn't hear any of that. I did hear Zuko a couple times with Edmonds, but
hey, Zuko threw a pretty good game last night.
He did. He threw well. Had that one little hiccup there in that inning, but he threw well. And the key with any pitcher is throw it over the plate, make him hit it. If you do that, you can beat anybody.
I'm just glad to see that baseball's working out better than track and field did.
With what?
Danny Zuko, remember?
Yeah.
Well, come on, keep
I'm
up,
sorry,
Randy.
I didn't know we were going with the Grease part.
Yeah.
Well, they were upset that Mr. Evans did get a hit there last night, and they didn't allow him to steal, and they couldn't understand why since he's on the track team.
There you go.
I said he didn't have his shorts on.
Yeah, he had those shorts. That's right. Makes you run faster.
Yeah, I do hate some of the seniors that these guys lost last year. One that I probably feel the worst for was Owen Grimsley. Obviously, had his senior season cut short. Then you lose a huge bat in Drew Potts. lose a lot of your outfield as well from last year. So a lot of new pieces there. How did you guys think that they fared last night?
Well, there was a little bit of a switch. So Bo Revord, normal shortstop, is in center,
Okay.
which I think that's where UT plans on playing him.
Well, I had heard that they were thinking about Jeff County, Zach and Trey were thinking about experimenting with him in the outfield because of that reason. But at the same time, you like to have him at shortstop.
Yeah, and Ethan Stout fielding great at short last night.
He
made two really good plays.
Mm-hmm.
He made all the plays he had to make.
Okay.
So you had Bo there in center. Ryan Smith was in left, and Brody started in right. But when Brody came in to pitch, Maddox went out to right.
Okay.
And Maddox actually played more outfield as a freshman, his freshman year, than infield. So it's lucky to have some guys that have enough skills and attributes that they can go multiple positions. So I think you will see some of that. I think you'll probably see, Bo and Max being moved the most if there has to be interchangeable parts. But they fill in well in the outfield. Of course, Brody, he can pitch, he can play outfield, and he can play first if need be. Did he play? Yeah, he did go to first after he pitched because Briley went to third. No.
I had to leave by that
Who
point.
played? Who went to first when Briley went to third when Max went to right? I don't remember. But there's some interchangeable parts. But you're always going to have those holes to fill. But luckily, those holes are being filled right now by people who have played and have had that varsity time. And so where they left is where the new blood's out, so to speak.
Well, and that's a good problem to have, especially being able to have some depth there and have talented depth at that. You mentioned some pieces of the arm barn. Obviously Bo's going to be the leader of that group, but Dylan pitches last night. Brody, of course, comes in to pitch an inning. Briley LaRue really came on strong last year. I know he's going to be a big piece for them. Maddox is back. How'd he look? I know he got to throw one inning. How did he look? And even being in the outfield, I know that that's got to be a big step for him after
Am I talking as a dad or as a coach or an observer?
I figured it was all three. I didn't know there was a difference, to be honest.
There's a big difference. Dylan come in, did what he's supposed to do. Brody comes in. It was good to see Maddox pitch. I mean, I'm not going to lie, it was hard not to see him pitch last year just as a dad, knowing that's what he wants to do. But he's made his way back. Can he tinker some things? Yeah, I think so. But he's around the plate. He's always been around the plate. Brody's around the plate. Briley's usually around the plate. Bo's around the plate. If you're around the plate, you can beat anybody. But names that could come in relief. You got Cole Woolard sitting out there through some quality innings last year.
Yep.
You'll have Cole Osborne that can throw some innings as a lefty. Him and Brody are the two lefties. You'll have Engel that may be able to throw some innings.
Okay.
So you just have – he's got arms. It's always been a concern how many arms you got. It's not – now, granted, it's not like Farragut where you got 20 arms only.
Look, somebody told me over the offseason that Farragut would finish fifth in the SEC this year. So, Farragut's off to their own right now.
But, I think Coach Long, Coach Potts, Woods, and Francisco, they have a unique opportunity and a unique problem to have. And you don't get that all the time, especially in baseball and around here. But, that group, how many seniors are there? 6 maybe? 6 or 7 seniors. And that's usually a pretty big group.
Another group that got their season started this year, soccer team, got 2 matches under their belts and dominating victories. 9-0 over Carter, 7-0 over Granger. Just a really impressive start. And, again, another first-year head coach over there.
Again, soccer, gosh, I don't know how many soccer players are on that roster.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's quite a few.
I don't know if I was coaching soccer, I'd keep that many, but I'm not coaching. But they're off, they've played 2 opponents, they've dominated them. They got I think Sevier County next week or soon. Do they not?
They've got the Smoky Mountain Cup
Yeah,
coming
they're
up
up
next,
there.
I believe.
Okay.
And
Don't
then
know who
after
they
that,
play
we'll.
in that, but
I talked to Jason last night, and he was mentioning it's a couple of out-of-state teams.
that's usually who it is.
There's a team from Alabama. There's a team that he was talking about that he said that's already played 8 matches this year, so he's looking forward to that challenge. And really, I mean, that's a good thing because, I mean, if you're beating teams, like, I don't really know what Carter and Granger have. You know,
Yeah.
it's really hard to gauge here early in the season
Correct.
who's who. But the fact that you come out and you've blitzed 2 teams 16 to nothing right off the bat, that's...
Putting up that many goals in shutout style in soccer. I mean, it doesn't matter who you're playing. It's still impressive. So
Yeah, it's a good start for them, and build some confidence in what they can do. And with Jason McCoy coaching now, his philosophy, Coach Wade, nothing against that's his philosophy, and it's worked. He's probably a little bit more defensive minded, and that's fine. I've always been defensive minded. I'd much rather watch good defense on a baseball field, basketball, and football than a high scoring game just pull your hair out of watching it. But
I don't know. I like bat flips.
well, I do not. Back in my day, there was a way to take care of that. But anyway, you can't do that no more. So, getting off to a good start like that, and I think they are a little bit heavy on the offensive end as far as that's where the talent may be. And so, if that's where your strength is, go ahead and use it. It's like football. If you got runners, let's run. If you got somebody to throw it, let's throw it.
Well, the thing that was interesting about last night's match, I mean, getting to see it firsthand, was Granger only got 2 shots off the entire match, and those both were they were back to back. One, Alexander Blaze ends up making he blocks it out, so that sets up a corner kick for Granger.
Is he playing goalie?
Well, he came in and played goalie. Ethan Bunch was the starter. I mean,
Okay.
at that point the match was out of reach,
Yeah.
so they're letting him get some time in there. Jason's talked about the fact that he likes him at center back as well. So that's that's one of those pieces that you can move around on that team. But then they set up a corner kick, and he ends up getting the save on that, and that was it. That's all the offense that Granger had the entire night. And I think that a lot of that was just the product of how much. Nothing against the the defense did their job. Every time the ball got on their side of the field, they took care of it. But, I mean, from the center up of that formation, they just completely smothered them and dominated possession.
never really gave the defense a chance to defend, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the offense was, just in the brief time that I was down there taking pictures and stuff right there around halftime, about the 20 minutes before half, I mean, it was just all offense for us. And, I mean, it was the skill is very evident when you watch them. Just dribbling and passing through the opponent's defense, passing back and forth. I mean, they've got they look like they've got the skill to give some people a lot of trouble.
Well, it's exciting to watch. I mean, we talk about the offense. They 48 shots last night, 32 of them on target.
Yeah.
And the ones that weren't on target is either right above the goal or just wide of it. I mean,
One of them hit me in the leg. I remember that one.
Yeah. Well, you made a great save.
I did. It was an intentional hit in the leg. We'll make sure we save that. I saved it.
Is your ankle swollen a little bit? Or?
It hit me in the calf. Didn't feel well, but
Okay.
I got over it.
It made school today.
Okay.
He's all right.
Yeah, I'm here. I didn't have to get a
Like, I wore a softball to the ankle one time. But
Well, like with teams, with any game that involves shooting, whether it's basketball, soccer, or hockey, it can't go in unless you try to put it there.
sure.
Right.
And again, it's about philosophies, and so forth and so on. But if you got somebody can kick it and you're 20 yards to the goal and shoot it. Let's see if it goes in or not, and then attack it on the rebound. So that's one thing. I'm a hockey fan. I watch my Blue Jackets, Columbus Blue Jackets, or the Flyers every time I can, and shoot it on net, put it on net, see if it goes in. So, and soccer is also about ball control. If you can control it, control the passing lanes, and move around, then that you'll have a good chance of winning.
They were certainly on the attack pretty much all night last night. One thing I wish that we had in that match that hockey does, usually you get some of those go. I mean, you throw it in there, it deflects off somebody and gets past the goalie. Well, that doesn't really happen in soccer. Usually if it deflects off somebody, the ball just stops dead in its tracks. And when Granger pretty much loaded the box and put everybody in front of the goal to keep them from scoring, well, that kept the game going. That kept Jeff County, in my opinion, from another 9-0 Mercy Roll game. Still, just an incredible showing. They've got a really talented group. Got some good senior leadership. Edwin Banuelos is a good piece. Oliver Diaz fired a bunch of shots on there last night. Gaines is teasing him as he's trying to set up for a corner kick in the first half.
He was
talking about he looks like he's out of breath and all this stuff. You got to get your athletic director under control.
Well, him and Oliver are pretty good buddies, and Oliver's got a game that's enjoyable to watch. And so he talked about Oliver today at lunch today. So he talked to him. So.
They've got a kid, I guess he's elevated from the junior varsity roster. I don't remember him from last year, but Isaiah Silva, 4 goals in the first match, 3 goals last night. That kid's on a torrid pace right now and definitely putting up some stellar numbers that could end up leading to some huge accolades by the season's end. And then, Jason had talked about they scrimmage tough, played teams like Bearden, Knox Catholic, Dobbins Bennett, played them close. I think that's going to benefit them in the end. And just with the way that they've started this season and having those results in mind, I think it could be a special year for Jeff County soccer.
I think so.
Moving on to softball, like I said, wore one to the ankle a couple of years ago, and all of a sudden it looked like I didn't have an ankle anymore. But hey, Matt Carter, second year coming back. Randy, you guys transitioned to him last year. Comes out, wins 11 games. How do you see them taking the next step this year?
Well, Matt's going to provide energy and excitement.
I don't think there's any doubt about that.
So I'll give you background. This is I've been here 13, 14 years. So this was probably 17, 18 years ago. I was umpiring college baseball, and I had a sack weekend. It was Mars Hill and Wingate, I believe. And Matt was playing first base for Mars Hill. And I noticed him just because of his energy and his excitement. He wasn't, mouthy bad or being airy. He just played hard, and he enjoyed playing. You can see that. So that's how I first got to know him. Then, of course, I knew him at Carson Newman, he was assistant coach there. Being an alumni there, talked to him there. And then he went to Cherokee and coached baseball there. And then we were fortunate enough to get him here at Mount Horeb teaching PE, and then held baseball for a year, and then he took over softball. They're in a point of building, and building through hard work, ethic, and also accountability in and outside the classroom and on and off the field. And he's done a great job. And with softball, you need that one pitcher. If you got a pitcher, you can.
We'll call her Caitlin Riley, just for example.
That would be a prime example, but she had some talent around her.
Sure.
But if you got that one arm, it don't matter the talent around you. You just got to figure out how to score a run. And we got some pitching, and we got some younger players coming their way up, and it's just about building that program. I know they had a rough start at CAK, I think it was early in this week, but he's going to provide energy. They're going to play the right way, and he's going to continue to build on that.
It was a tough start, but at the same time, you've got a freshman playing in her first varsity game that hits a home run in her first at bat.
Yeah,
That's
helps.
not bad.
Yeah, that helps.
And you've got a girl, another, I believe, an underclassman, Bella Watson, that returns. She hits a home run as well. I mean, they didn't have a lot of power in their lineup last year. So the fact that you've already got that and you've got them in 2 younger girls, that's got to be a big benefit. You talk about right now we're in a building phase. Bryson, I'll ask you, as a coach, Matt's also in charge of the middle school team. So, I mean, he's directly feeding his own program right now. How much of a benefit is that?
Yeah, it's huge. When you talk about development of players, I mean, that's just the one thing as a coach you always want to look for. I'm gonna be going through the same process, especially with my girls team in the fall, golf wise, just rebuilding, getting in those freshmen, and the more involved they are in middle school, and the more you see that willingness to just better yourself over time. I mean, we talk about those guys that on the baseball team that walk in with that drive and that ability. If you see that, I mean, that's gold as freshmen. And as freshmen, they might not be able to do as much as they want to, but as time goes on and as they are committed to the process, I mean, that's in a rebuilding phase. That's all you could ever ask for. That's huge.
Well, and I mean, he's got 3 freshmen that are 3 that I know of for sure that are on the varsity roster this year that are going to have a major impact. He's got a couple of pitchers. Then he's also got Lauren Gann, who's a sophomore, that'll help out with that. And then, like I already mentioned, Kaylee Reese hits a home run in her first at bat. Well, she's also playing shortstop. I mean, arguably one of the most important positions in the infield.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's gonna be huge. And then, on top of that, I mean, you've got great senior leadership. You've got some juniors in there. I think that he's got a good mix, but man, I think you've got to be excited about some of this youth that's coming in, and then some more of the middle school talent that's going to be feeding that program in the next couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he's done some work. He's got some, they're doing a turf bullpen mound they put in that's on the field or behind the field. He's taking care of the field. He's got rides, green as can be. So, he understands what it takes. And, some people don't like to hear the word process because they want results now, but sometimes it takes a process. And, I saw something on Twitter the other day. It was Krzyzewski. And if you go by today's win now rule with coaches,
he wouldn't have lasted at Duke.
He'd been fired at Duke after 3 years. And, you gotta be willing to wait and explain that process. And college is different from high school. College, you can recruit who you want. High school, it's who you get. And just sometimes there's ups and downs on who comes in, and that's just part of it. And when we've interviewed coaches that I've been a part of, either as principals, athletic director, I want kids to compete. And I understand sometimes that you just may not have the horses, but I want to see them compete and have fun and do it the right way. And if we're doing that, wins and losses will take care of itself once it's all said and done.
Well, I mean, you just look at it from a broad lens. I mean, last year they won 11 games. That was up from 4 wins the year before that. So, yeah, I mean, it's going to be a process. And, like you said, nobody likes to hear that. And really the ones that I hate it for the most are the seniors because, I mean, you've got Ava, you've got Aubrey, you've got Faith, who all got there pretty much right after that state championship run. So they know what this program has succeeded, but things just kind of fell off, and it's not their fault. It's not really anybody's fault. It's just sometimes it's the way it goes.
It is what it is.
There's ebbs and flows for every team and every sport. I mean, there's a reason that Nick Saban didn't win every single national championship. There's a reason that Kirby Smart didn't win the national championship this year. Thank God.
Reason why Florida State didn't win the year.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you all for joining us.
I'm glad you said it because I was going to say
I go back to, just ebbs and flows of athletics. I go back to how dominant golf was in this county for a span of about 20 years. And I think a large part of that was the Tiger Woods factor. Kids wanted to play golf, and they went out and played golf. And so that sort of got that going. And, we've not that, we're bad, but, when you had 4 and 5 guys that never shot over 40 all the time as a high school golf team, and some of them usually shot under par all the time, you're going to win a lot. And, again, it's the ebbs and flows. I really think with that golf thing, one was Tiger Woods factor, 2, it was a brand new golf course here in the county. Everybody wanted to play it. But not that golf's not as popular as it was, but I don't think a lot of kids go after it like they used to. And, with golf, if you don't go out, play, but also play and walk, riding a golf cart is a lot different than walking those courses.
Sure.
Yep.
And then work on different aspects of your game, it's not going to show up. Just going to the driving range and going on the monitor and hitting your driver, that
doesn't do anything. I have to have that conversation multiple times a year.
That don't do it. But again, I think it's just time period. Football's finally got back. Let's see what happens. It's finally starting to come back, but it went through a lull.
Yep.
It just happens. Every sport we've had here, and it's going to be 50 years next year, has had ups and downs.
Yep.
And it's just is what it is. And you hope you have people in place that stay there and consistent, and again, build and have that process. And, in the end, wins and losses take care of itself, but may not be immediate.
Yeah. just the softball situation. No team that has won a state title has just constantly had success year after year after year. They've gone through that dry spell. They've gone through those peaks and valleys. So yeah, and I think that Matt's doing a great job. You guys have noted that as well. Yeah, a little bit of a rough start to the season. CAK's a good team though. I mean, I've watched them compete at the Division II level the last couple of years now, and they're solid contenders. So I mean, that's a tough one to start out with, but you've got some good games coming up this week. We'll see how they bounce back. Another one getting ready for their season opener. Their opener got postponed because of the weather. Tennis will get back on the courts this week. New coach there as well. Got a lot of new coaches, Randy. What's going on?
Retirement. Retirement or choosing different job paths.
So retirement is the word instead of grease.
Well,
yes.
Retirement's close to me.
No, you can't go anywhere. Not until I don't like change, and I've already had enough.
I got
of
at
it.
least 4 more years. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so new tennis coach. Again, with tennis, what's exciting to me is the numbers. When I started here as AD, 2010, 2011, there were not a lot of numbers. And I think tennis is one of those games or sports where you can try to build a team that's also going to give them something they can do the rest of their lives. They want to do it. And I just like to see that we're having numbers out there. I think redoing the courts, having lights, having tennis camps over the last few years has got some interest back up, and that's good to see.
You mentioned, I think like golf, it's one of those sports you've got to get out there and play as well. And it's one of those that, you've got a little more access to it though. You don't necessarily have to. There's public tennis cages, around that you can go to. You ain't got to go and pay a member's fee.
My high school back home, which had torn down Bill Newman, you could go hit off a wall. You just go by yourself and play.
Right. Jacob Lindsay obviously stepped down over the off season. His assistant though, Diana Price, ends up picking it up. How do you guys feel about that continuity? Surely a good thing.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she's familiar with the program, how it runs, how things run. You got some players coming back, but they were warming up. Was that Tuesday? It was election.
Yeah, it's Tuesday.
They were warming up, and then the rain hit.
I will say, we haven't seen him in action yet, but I went out there, I shook off the rust, I got a tennis racket, and I went out there with 2 of the girls that were in the senior play, and they kicked my tail.
Okay.
So,
Good deal. Good to hear. They took
good
out
as I want to
use
think
that
I
as the
used to be.
benchmark.
Yeah, that's
all
the
right.
benchmark. As good as I want to think I used to be, they kicked my butt, but I also haven't touched a tennis racket in about 3 years. So.
Well, I know 2 of them that are going to be stout for him, and they have been since they stepped into the program. The Berger sisters, Elena and Presley, all district girls last year, had a great season a year ago. I only expect even greater things from them this year.
Yes, it's good to have them back. They're actually triplets, by the way. There's a third one that doesn't play tennis. She's more into acting and
Mock trial
stuff like that.
Okay.
Actually coached their older brother in Little League baseball there for a while. But they'll be great. I just ran into Worley and Sophie as they were going out to practice today, and I said, "What is your enemy?" I said, "Who are you playing in tennis?" Like, my opponent. I said, "No. Well, I got a what do they call the matches to see where they're ranked? What do they call this thing?"
Oh, jeez. I think they just call them challenge matches.
Challenge
Yeah.
matches. I got it. I said,
okay.
"No, that's not it. That's not it." And I said, "You're playing the net. Your job is simply to get it over the net, in play, and make the other person hit it back to you. That's your job."
Yep.
And so, I think some of them try to get wrapped up and try to pull off a Pete Sampras and hit it 100 miles an hour, or just get it over the net and make the other guy mess up or the other girl mess up. But I've been out there before. They seem to have fun. The teams I've been around, they're easygoing, and they put up signs all over the school. I don't know how many I took down after March 5th, advertising that match, trying to get people out there to watch them. And if the weather's good, we've had quite a few people out there watching.
This place has typically hardly lacked support for
Yes.
sure.
Yeah,
man, that's something that always sticks out. You know, I think Jacob did a good job as coach over the last couple of years. Of course, Diana being a part of that, I think that's going to be a great thing. I think they won 8 matches last year as far as like team on team top compositions, which is huge. You know, won some big district matches. I think they only lost 1 in the district all year. So really good job on their part. Looking forward to seeing what they can do this year. I mean, I know that they've got some big pieces to replace, especially on the boys' side of the roster. You lose both the Baker not twins, but brothers. You know, but still, I think that they, you know, just talking to her, she seems like that they've got some optimism for the year ahead. And of course, I mean, we'll wrap things up with track. I don't think there's any shortage of what we can talk about with what Delosier does and all those guys. I mean, they take at least a fifth of the team to state every single year.
Well, you know we're going to be strong on the female discus and shot side.
Absolutely.
And on the male side as well, because they're back. Nick Moore and Alyssa Longmire.
Yep.
Who I think in the play, they missed a golden opportunity to play. I think she, during a dance routine, should have grabbed one of the boys and threw them up in the air.
That would have been funny.
Or to the back of the auditorium.
But she
definitely could have gotten him there.
She had a great dance routine, but I really think it would be funny if you could have worked it in where like her male partner, struggled lifting, and she just grabs him and throws him up.
Yeah.
I've always joked with her that she's going to be part of my discipline program in school. She's going to lock them in a room and say, "You deal with her." And Alyssa's great. I'm really going to miss her when she's gone, not just because of athletics and school. She's just a great person to be around.
She
happy,
is.
Smiling.
I've got her in my first period AP class, and she's just. I'm glad I've gotten to know her. She's a phenomenal person.
Bundle of joy is what she is.
I know Bo loved having her on the girls basketball team last year, just because the energy that she brings.
Yeah, the
Even
energy
she probably not going to play
is.
much. She was just the cheerleader, and actually got videos of her dancing during the timeout. But showed that with her mom. She thought it was hilarious. But you're going to be good on that side. And then, as far as the other parts, Coach Delosier has a way of finding people and putting them where they need to be to help the team, not only as an individual, but the team itself. You got Eliza Collins sitting on the girls' side, who's a phenomenal athlete. And, trying to think of some other,
You've got Tylee Hefney with pole vault. I mean, she already holds the program record. Went to state last year. You've got Haley Potts, who's trying to hit the program record for triple jump. She went to state last year. You've just on the field side, you've got so much, and I think that he's also excited about what they're going to have in their running this year as well, especially their sprints. That's something that they, were struggled a little bit with last year.
And you got that, and then you think Coach D's with the cross-country team, so then you got the distance side of it that's really...
Well, he said the entire cross-country team is there for the distance events.
Oh, they're out here running all the time.
Yeah, I mean, that can only bode well. I can only imagine how many we're taking to state this year. It's always a good trip for them, getting to show out like that. But, last year, obviously very special with Alyssa getting the state championships, not just in shot put, but in discus. I mean, like you guys have said, I've never heard anybody say a bad thing about her. Good for her, not just from the standpoint that she puts the work in and, how capable she is as an athlete, but she's just a good person.
Good all-around person.
You always like to see good people get good things.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And, you think Coach Delosier, but you got Coach Shockley doing, the throws. And then he's got other helpers with distance, sprinting. So, Coach D's the head of it, and he runs it. But he's got some good helpers, too, as all our coaches have some pretty good assistants that can help them out in various roles.
Well, and the thing with Delosier, we had him on for a podcast a few months ago, and just talking to him, pretty much everything he does, he's successful with it. And it's just, you don't really see that.
Right.
He's coached multiple sports. I don't know that he's really had he might think that he's had a failure, but it's hard to see what he's failed at.
True, and only he would know all that stuff. I've asked him numerous times to get me his records as a track and cross country, even before I got here, because I would love to nominate him for the TWSA Coaches of the Year and stuff like that.
Absolutely.
Because he deserves it. If anybody hadn't got one yet deserves it, he'd be one up because of just what he's done consistently, year in and year out. Not only mainly here is track, but then when he took over cross country, what it's become.
I mean, they're already IMAC champions. Connor Hodgson ends up winning the IMAC meet outright. Team's gone to state back-to-back years. I mean, it's just incredible. And then, obviously the track and field program has had incredible success over the years, dominated the district for the last almost 2 decades now. Probably going to continue to do that this year. I don't think he really liked it last year. I said that they should change it to the JCHS Invitational. But
no, he likes to play that underdog role, and we're gonna have to do what we're supposed to do to win it. If we don't, we're gonna lose. But he is very good, like I mentioned before, of putting them where they need to be, not only to help as individuals, but as the team.
Yes.
Make sure you get them team points.
And I mean, again, just a solid group. Have you guys discussed where you're going to put the track and field and cross country only trophy case yet? Because
not yet.
We're probably going to need one of those.
That'd be good. I think my first opportunity this summer might be is to take the all-state pictures out of the trophy case.
Okay.
And create an all-state wall.
Okay.
Which will provide more room for trophies.
Okay. Or we could just do a room. What would you say? Probably about 12 foot high.
I can't do that.
And we could put a golf simulator in there.
Hey, there you go. There you go. There you go. Nick on them.
All right, with that can of worms open.
We just talked about it's not about that. It's about getting out and playing and walking.
But seriously, think it's gonna be a good spring season. Looking forward to it. Guys, be sure to check the standard banner for next week's edition, or I don't know. You and I got this week's edition, I guess,
for the spring sports section.
Yeah,
That's
for
right.
the
Thursday.
Yeah, for the spring sports section. That'll be out on March 14th. Obviously, you can go and just grab a copy from your local gas station, or you can subscribe for only $40 for the entire year. Get it delivered right to your mailbox.
I got a subscription.
And I thank you for that.
I'll say that.
I thank you for that.
And then I go buy extras when I start cutting out pictures and putting them on the bulletin board because you got to do a better job of lining them up. But that's okay. I'll buy another one for $1. It's fine.
Better job of lining them up.
So if I cut one on one page, it's not. I cut up somebody else on the back page.
Oh well, I
It's
can't
all right.
can't do anything about that.
I'll buy another one. It's fine. Do it all the time.
But we do appreciate you. Every time I come in and I see all that stuff plastered on the wall, that makes me feel good.
I appreciate you and Mr. Gentry.
Well, we appreciate it. We appreciate you guys for listening. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Thank you for supporting the paper. Thank you for supporting Jefferson County Athletics. Till next time.